From Mountain Home to Raft River, we've got all the District 4 analysis you'll need to know. This is the Magic Valley Prepcast with Scott Burton.
That's right. Welcome in another edition of the Magic Valley Prepcast, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, and X account. We do this every Thursday afternoon, approximately 3:30. It's a little closer to 4 o'clock Magic Valley time now. Had some internet problems, which probably doesn't surprise anybody. So, but we're here and we're ready to go. My name is Brandon Baney, but the snazzy intro where it said, "Here's Scott Burton." Here he is, the man himself. What's up, Scotty? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? It seems like we say the same thing to start the show every week. Coming on close to 3:30. It's pretty much 4 o'clock right now. And, today was one of those days that I was ready to go. I was dialed in. I had my work. I was there. But the interweb gnomes kind of tripped us up there for a little bit. I still don't know what happens, the three things of technology is you hit it, you swear at it, and then you restart it. And one of those things is going to work. And so I think we found, I did all three of them, but I think we found one that did work. So we should be good.
It's generally encouraged to pay your internet bill, Scott. That's what it was.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, right. Oh, weird, huh?
I've got my internet bill on layaway. How's that?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Scott. Well, we are going to talk a little postseason basketball, a little regular season basketball, boys basketball coming up on the final week of the regular season. Postseason play begins next week. Again, we have all the district tournament brackets on IdahoSports.com for boys basketball. We'll start filling them in with actual teams once we get the official seedings and pairings and whatnot. But girls basketball, Scott, over half of the state tournament field has been set. 48 bids available from 6A down to 1A. And we are over 30 teams now that have clinched, including your Jerome Tigers. I'm assuming that's why you've got state, baby. It's state, baby.
State, baby. No, it's a double entendre, really, because it's the state, because, yes, we qualified. But a week from today, I get to be calling state games. And I'm looking forward to that as well. So it's kind of a double meeting. But, yes, last night, very exciting.
Yeah, I need to send an email out to all of our state broadcasters. Scott, how does Monday night look for you next week for a little state tournament preview show?
Oh, yeah.
Our annual tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've got you.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I should be good. Yeah.
Yeah. You publicly declared it, so we're going to hold you to it. So.
Okay, I'll be there. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, just send me a text on what time to show up, I guess, and I'll do my best.
Yeah, I really need to send that email. And I've got two basketball games I'm broadcasting tonight, Scott. So
who do you have?
I've got a couple of District 1 championships, Mullen versus Kootenai, followed by Wallace and Lakeside. So
how about that?
It's gonna be some good stuff tonight.
Yeah. A couple of teams out of the north there with Sandpoint and Lakeland are making some noise that I'll be talking about, next week.
Yeah, 77-73 in that district championship game. Lakeland, I think Lakeland's got the goods, Scott. I've seen them with my own eyes this year. I think Lakeland's got the goods. They're legit. So, but Jerome also, right? Of course.
Yeah, we just don't have the prolific scorer, but man, we're scrappy. We can get after it. We can get some things done. Not very big, but they play well together. I'll tell you what, they took care of business last night.
Yeah. Well, let's start there then as we make our way through the girls basketball postseason. Again, I'm going to share my screen so you can see all of our district tournament brackets. If you're watching along on video, just make your screen full size. It'll be a little easier to see all of it. But if you're listening, audio only at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download and subscribe to podcasts, it's all good. We've got them all on the homepage. You can just check them out there and follow along. All right, Scott, here it is, the Great Basin District Tournament. Class 5A District 4 championship game last night in Mountain Home, 1 versus 2, and the Jerome Tigers go on the road and get a 58-54 victory. Jerome, the district champions for the first time in how long, Scott?
Since I was coaching it back in 2010. So it's been a hot minute.
And the league seems to go through these runs, right? It was Burley for a little while with Amari Whiting, and then it kind of went over to Minico with CJ Lotta, and Twin Falls has been in there in the mix. And then recently it's been Mountain Home. And so Jerome kind of back on top, king of the hill, as it were. You've got this really interesting third place, second place game tonight. Again, in Mountain Home, the Tigers have to defend their home floor against a Burley team that they have split with this season. The winner of this does not advance to state. They do advance to a state play-in game on Saturday in American Falls. The winner of Mountain Home and Burley will play the winner of Hillcrest and Skyline, and that will be an absolute battle to determine who gets that last spot to state.
Yeah, this is this conference has been really interesting to watch because, all the talk was about Mountain Home, and rightfully so. They were killing it early on in the season, but the last 5 games they've gone 2-3. With a loss to Burley at Mountain Home, and 2 losses to Jerome. And it was back when Mountain Home came to Jerome and lost. They just have not been the same. The unbeatable kind of persona you had of Mountain Home. I mean, there's a chink in the armor there. And it would not surprise me at all if Burley went up there and pulled the upset, because Burley, I mean, that is a super interesting team, because that's a team that started 6-0, and everybody's talking about Burley. But, the teams that they played to get to 6-0 were a combined 26-65. So there was a lot of soft teams on that schedule to get them started, and Preston was the only one that had a winning record. And then all of a sudden, Burley started to play some teams. They played teams like Sandpoint and Jerome and Bora, Pocatello, and they got smacked around a little bit, but, and even had a stretch where they lost 7 of 9. But they started to find themselves a little bit down the stretch and are playing some really good basketball right now behind 2 sophomores that are leading the way. Jocelyn Lloyd and Addie Almos, those 2 young kids can play. So Burley, I tell you what, that's a scary team. They're playing some good basketball right now.
Yeah, and what a difference a week makes. When we were on here last week looking at this bracket, you had spent all day on the phone with Max Preps wondering why Jerome wasn't the 1 seed and Mountain Home was. And you said, hey, our Jerome girls got to lock in, because if we let this be a distraction, we're going to be out before you know it. And so
yes,
Coach Kelly Williams got them focused in, Scott. Now they can focus in on state as well.
Yeah, and that was, and the funny thing is how that works with the mindset, because I was talking to, Coach Keener last night after the game, super good friend of mine, and just saying, hey, hang in there. It's going to be okay. It's going to be where your girls' head's at, and he goes, yeah, I know. I mean, that's just kind of what I can't control right now. And I'm trying to, get them dialed in, but man, I've seen it so many times, not just with this group, but even groups that I've coached. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And you've got to save enough mental gas in the tank to overcome all the crap that's going to come your way, especially down the stretch part of the season. And I've seen teams just kind of fizzle out because of that. And, hopefully Mountain Home doesn't do that, but I've seen it. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting game with Burley and Mountain Home tonight.
Yeah, must see basketball there for sure. So good luck to both the Tigers and the Bobcats, not just tonight, but also against either Hillcrest or Skyline on Saturday. And Hillcrest is the better team over there, but Skyline just seems to have some mystique when it comes to postseason girls basketball. Coach Ty Keck always seems to have his Skyline girls peaking at the right time. So I would not want to see Skyline in that play-in game. So
no, not at all.
Yep. All right, Scott, let's move on to the 4A District 4 tournament. Congratulations to the Kimberly Bulldogs. They were the first district champion from the Magic Valley all the way back on Monday, which feels like 3 weeks ago at this point. Just a dismantling of Filer here, 57-28. So Kimberly is your district champion. Filer then last night defeated Gooding in the second and third place game, 68-59. So the Wildcats also punched their ticket to state. So Kimberly and Filer representing the district here. Kimberly, again, we talked about it, Scott, that overall record is not pretty. And in fact, they and Filer continue to ping pong between the number 7 and number 8 seeds, according to Max Preps.
Yeah.
I've got Kimberly emailing me, hey, how come Filer's ahead of us? Then the Filer AD is calling me, hey, do you think we're going to stay ahead of Kimberly? Short answer, I don't think so. I think Kimberly is going to nudge ahead of Filer because Sugar Salem is still playing tonight. Kimberly played Sugar Salem earlier this year. I think that will be enough to nudge Kimberly once again over Filer. But Kimberly played a gauntlet of a schedule, took a lot of losses. Filer feasted on a softer schedule and piled up a lot of wins. Two different ways to attack in the era of Max Preps, Scott. It's kind of a study of what's the best way to do your schedule because both of these teams are dead even almost.
Well, it's almost like you're just reading my notes here, Brandon. I don't know if I have anything left to say. But yeah, I was going to say, don't let Kimberly's record fool you. I mean, they beat Filer 3 times by an average of 23 points. They have owned Filer, so you can't tell me that head-to-head shouldn't matter because it should. I think that should be something that carries a lot of weight if you want to know which team is better than the other one. But at the same time, we said don't let that record fool you because they did play some tough teams. Mountain Home, Jerome, Sugar, BK, Burley, they played all those teams. And meanwhile, Filer, their schedule, it wasn't very strong. And going 17-4 with 3 losses to Kimberly tells you something. It's like, well, who are they playing, right? But in 4, everybody's chasing Sugar anyhow. But that is an interesting kind of question. I mean, Kimberly, Filer, who should be ahead in Max Preps? I think it's Kimberly all day, without question.
Yeah, interesting dichotomy there.
I'm surprised that they're that close, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but then again, it's the same argument. It's like, okay, well, what do we do? Do we go schedule these hard teams or do we schedule a bunch of soft teams? Well, looking at this, it's exactly the same. They shouldn't be that close because they couldn't be further apart from each other in the way that they did things. That that is an interesting dive right there. I would like to have somebody explain that one to me.
Yeah.
Kimberly that plays all these great teams. Okay, fine. They're 12-11. But did Filer play any of those teams? No, they didn't. Did Filer beat Kimberly? No, Kimberly beat them 3 times by over 20 points a game. Why are they so close? Well, it's because Filer is sitting at 17-4. Okay. Well, they didn't have a strong schedule. I don't know, Brandon.
Yeah, take a number. Everybody wants to know what's going on there. And this is not we're not picking on Filer. This is happening further up the bracket line. Scott, like Marsh Valley is like, I don't know, 19-4. But kind of a softer schedule. They barely beat Snake River in their district tournament. They've got a playing game Saturday. They may or may not make it. And they're like the 4 seed right now. And again, it's just they've piled up a lot of wins against a softer schedule. So I don't know. Very interesting. So anyways,
good luck to both of them. How's that?
That's right. Kimberly, Scott, not only won the district championship, but in the district championship game, outstanding junior Taya Plu goes over 1,000 career points. Scott, another 1K scorer this year in the Magic Valley.
I've not seen anything like it. I mean, I don't know. 17 years ago, there was something in the water that was conceiving all of these 1,000-point scorers because they are just coming out of the woodwork. And Taya Plu is another one. And one other thing I want to walk it back a little bit too, because this does apply to Taya, is that Kimberly, they started the season like, my gosh, and whatever. And let me bring that up specifically. Losing my voice. Hope I'm ready to go for state basketball.
Yeah, you need to heal up.
Yeah. No, Kimberly started 0-5 on the season. Okay, and that's got a little something to do with their record. But guess who was not playing in those 5 games? Taya, because she had a fractured wrist. And so who knows, kind of how that factors into things as well. But I don't think there's a formula for Max Preps that says, well, hey, our best player was out those first 5 games. Otherwise, who knows if they all would have been losses. I don't know. Anything. I don't know. But Taya, she would have had her 1,000 points a lot sooner, had she not been sitting out 5 games. But man, what a special player she is.
Yeah. We got a parade of photos to show here today on the show, not just for this story, but the next one coming up as well. So let's take a look at these, Scott. Here is kind of the promotional post 1,000 career points there for Taya Plu. And again, as we said, only a junior. So she's got a chance to maybe get up to 1,400, 1,500 possibly, depending on how things go here in the postseason, which is pretty remarkable. Here she is after the district championship game with the balloon thing is catching on, Scott. I'm telling you, Carrie did it with Andy Simpson, and Kimberly's like, okay, we got to make sure we got a balloon for when Taya crosses over this. The poster's nice and everything, but got to have a balloon. So,
a balloon makes all the difference in the world, But just to kind of explain that the wrist thing with Taya is that she had fractured her wrist in the district volleyball tournament, but chose to play through state with it. She wasn't going to stop playing and get it checked out. Had she, then maybe she would have been available for some of those first ball games in basketball. But after state was over, they had to kind of treat that, and she recovered very, very, very quickly. Quickly than they thought she would. But anyway, that's like the little backstory there behind that.
Yeah. Really remarkable athlete, certainly. And we know Kimberly's volleyball team has been outstanding the last several years also. So this was Taya and her family after the game. And then this is also Kimberly with their district championship trophy as well, Scott, or plaque, I guess.
Yeah. And it was the night of the district championship game that she got her 1,000 points. So, talk about a great stage to kind of reach that milestone. She had 14 points at the half. And so it was just really a matter of time. And, Coach Dad told her in the locker room that, hey, stay focused, play the game. Cause she was just a point away coming out of that locker room. And, talking to Scott Plu, she came out firing in that second half and probably took a shot or two that she shouldn't have. But settled down and shortly after got a layup to reach that 1,000 point mark. And he said just to see the smile on her face and the excitement from her teammate and the cheering from the bench and the crowd. And it was just one of those moments that, we sound like a broken record now on the show, but each one of those is a different broken record. And for Taya, it was something special, and, congratulations to her.
Yep. Pretty remarkable night for Kimberly overall. And then this was pretty cool. Just some cool black and white photos in here. Really adds to the dramatic factor, I feel like. So,
well, and that picture right there, you can see the length. That's the thing. One of the things that makes her such a special player is that she can play positions 1 through 5. And she can also defend positions 1 through 5 as well. That's kind of her quickness, her length, her athleticism. She can cover so much ground. This is a player that's been their leading scorer, all 3 of the seasons that she's played. And she's a special athlete. She really is. But to play positions 1 through 5 and to be able to defend them, man, that is a matchup nightmare for other teams.
Yeah. And it's a younger Kimberly team this year as well, Scott. When you look at their starting lineup, there are no seniors. It's 3 juniors, Plu and Addison Osborne and Emma Chavez, kind of setting the table at point guard, and then 2 sophomores, Avery Beard and Brooklyn Verway. So, good nucleus.
Yeah. We're going to be saying a lot of these names again next year for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple of comments here in the chat. Here's Frank Case, our good friend from Glens Ferry. Howdy, guys. Speaking of 1,000 points, has Saida Arevalo from Glens Ferry been mentioned? No, I didn't even know Coach Case. So,
no, I didn't either.
We're going to have to reach out to Coach McCone and see if we can get some info on
well,
that.
They were just,
I want to recognize all of them.
Yeah, they were just at our place last week playing, and I had no idea. I was watching Revla go up and down, but I had no clue. I'll have to reach out.
Yeah. I finally learned how to say her name correctly at state softball last year. Coach Case told me it's Sida, like Sida fries.
That's exactly how the McHolmes, explained it to me as well. Because every time I have to say that name, it's Sida fries. Scott, think of Sida fries. Okay, that's it.
Yep, no doubt. So again, congratulations to Kimberly for winning the district championship, and to Taya Plu for going over 1,000 career points here. Let's see, that window crashed. I'm gonna have to try and re-add in my screen here to get our district tournaments going here. Scott, we talked about at the Class 3A level, this was that crazy district tournament where there were all sorts of upsets, and let's see, that's not gonna we had Declo and Wendell, and they both, Wendell was the 3 seed and Declo was the 6 seed, and Declo was the team that won in the opening round. Just kind of a crazy district tournament overall. So there we go. Finally got it back up here. Scott, here it is. So no surprise, Malad wins the district championship over Aberdeen, 64-27. Wendell goes 2-out, Scott. Westside comes to Wendell and gets a 46-40 win last Saturday. And then Westside took out Declo by 3, 31-28. And so now tonight on IdahoSports.com, you've got Aberdeen and Westside. The winner will advance to state. It's been a minute since Aberdeen's been at state in girls basketball, so that'd be kind of a cool story.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Aberdeen's having a great season. Again, kind of like everybody's chasing sugar in 4A. Malad's kind of the alpha dog in this one, out in front of everybody. 17-2 on the year. Only losses were to Bear Lake and one to Lehigh, Utah. So this is a really good Malad team, but there's a kind of a feel-good story in that Aberdeen group. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, and for Declo, 3 points short of playing tonight. So good season for the Hornets there as well, and Coach Brad Caracia. Okay, Scott, this is the tournament you've been really checking out the action on here. 2A District 4. This is the Snake River Conference. I got to be honest, Scott. Oakley winning the district championship last night or 2 nights ago at the College of Southern Idaho didn't necessarily surprise me, but the domination over Raft River, 51-19, Scott. This was, when they played in the regular season, Oakley won by like 10 the first time. The second time, Raft River had a huge lead and blew it, and Oakley beat them by 4 in overtime. And so I'm like, okay, here we go, round 3. And Oakley just immediately shut the door, 51-19.
Yeah, I heard that Raft River left 3 of them on the bus, so they were playing 5-on-2. But this was a game that you could not see coming, and is it Raft River just didn't show up, or is Oakley peaking at the right time? Because this state tournament, this 2A tournament might have a collision course ahead of it, with Oakley and Lapwai. And it's all pointing that direction, so hopefully, and then they're ranked 1 and 2 in the state. Lapwai, number 1, 17-1 record. Their only loss was to Prairie, who could be the team that either Valley or Raft River faces in the play-in, so there's some ties going on here. Prairie's a really good team. Don't get me wrong. They're the only team to have beaten number 1 Lapwai. They're also in that same conference, which means they're going to be that 2B team that most likely that is going to end up playing either Valley or Raft River. So, it is no easy task for the winner of this game between Valley and Raft River, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Valley barely, sneaks past Hagerman. Hagerman played their best ball late, Scott, for sure, as the 5 seed. 56-50, Valley got the narrow win there. So, yeah. Here it is tonight. This was supposed to be at Jerome, Scott. What happened? We're moved to Murtaugh now.
Well, we had so many moving parts that something had to go. We potentially were going to have 3 events in one night, all on top of each other. because had we lost last night to Mountain Home, we would be playing in our gym tonight, which would have kicked them out anyway, and so we kind of had to have a contingency plan. But on top of that, our wrestlers have their senior night tonight, and so I have to announce for that at 5:00. And that usually takes place in the auditorium, but we wanted to run 2 mats, so we're going to move them out of the auditorium and into the gym, but we didn't know what gym we were going to use because of last night's game. And then when we won, it's like, okay, this gym opened up and here we are. So there was just too much happening, and we just had to move them. And it's unfortunate because I love being there for those teams. And, we'll be there for the boys when they roll around. But, dang it, that's going to be a good game. Wish I were courtside.
Yeah, and then the winner of that will play either Prairie or Kamei. Those 2 teams are dueling tonight as well, Scott, to determine who that 2B is. So we'll keep an eye on that.
And a point of reference, how good Prairie is and kind of where that Prairie and Lapwai and Oakley goes. I mean, you want to kind of draw the common lines in there. Prairie lost to Oakley this year by 6, 37-31. So there are those common denominators, between Lapwai, Oakley, and Prairie. And so we'll see if Valley or Raft River can find their way to the state tournament. I hope they can.
Yeah, it'll be they'll have earned it, no doubt about it, if they get there. So
yeah,
we'll keep an eye on it. All right, Scott. Finally, 1A Snake River Conference. Really fun games last night at the College of Southern Idaho. First of all, you had the 3rd and 4th place game. Hanson wins in a thriller over Richfield, 36-30. And then Carey and Dietrich, Scott, 40-38. The Panthers get the win very late in the contest. This one came all the way down to the wire, and Carey essentially makes a game-winning basket to win it 40-38.
Yeah, Carey, the number 3 ranked team in the state, tiptoes on out of there as a conference champion. So congratulations to them. The 2nd place or 2nd seed Dietrich and 3rd seed Hanson, they're going to play for that 2nd spot at state. And I just don't see how this isn't going to go Dietrich's way, to be honest with you. Dietrich, I mean, they have owned Hanson this year, beat him 3 times, once by 37, once by 29, another one by 16. This would be an ultimate upset if Hanson were able to pull this off, So I think we can pencil Carey and Dietrich in at state, I would think.
Yes. Carey had an 8-point lead late in the 4th quarter. Dietrich came all the way back to tie it at 38-38. Scott, Andy Simpson, who we talked about on this show a couple weeks ago, banks in the game-winning layup with 5 seconds to go. Dietrich's got no timeouts. They just have to scramble and put up a half-court heave. Doesn't go. So, hey, you don't get any style points. Carey gets the win, though, and they're moving on. And like you said, we think Dietrich's probably going to end up joining them there. So, all right. Congratulations to all of our Magic Valley teams that qualified for state tournaments. I'd say there's probably, of the teams we discussed, 3 of the 4, I think, have a decent shot at maybe taking home a first place trophy. And not that Kimberly doesn't, but Sugar Salem is just so much, but any of the others, Jerome, Carey, or Oakley, certainly, I think, could do it. So,
yeah, it's going to be a fun state tournament. And the best time of year. Love calling these things. So I'll be at 5As, right? Yeah, I'll be at the 5A girls, and it should be a good one.
Yep. Well, boys basketball, as we mentioned, Scott, coming down the home stretch here. We did want to touch base with one program in particular that's kind of caught my eye as the season's gone along, and I've kept intending to talk about this team. We just have never had a chance to, but this is the time, Scott. The community school, Sun Valley Community School, the Cutthroats. We think of that as primarily a soccer school, and then, a lot of their athletes in the winter time are skiing or playing hockey, perhaps doing some kind of off-school sports. But for the first time in a long time, Scott, their boys basketball team is making heads turn and making teams pay attention. 13-6 overall, 9-5 in conference play, and they've taken a couple of dings lately. But it has been a really fun season for first-year coach Juan Martinez and the Cutthroats.
Yeah, this is a really kind of a fun, cool little story, just because you don't think of the community school as a basketball school. Like you said, it's not. I mean, gosh, anything up in that area, traditional winter sports that school related, like basketball and wrestling and those kinds, forget it, man. Because these kids they're a different breed up there, and it's so unique that they get this going. Now, Juan is no stranger to the area. He grew up there, and so he also was coaching at Wood River for a long time as well. And so he's familiar with the kids that are there. I mean, he coached a lot of these kids in AAU. And so when this job came open, he kind of knew what he was walking into. But he's also one of the guys that, if you don't know Juan, he lights up a room. He is just one of those guys that he's got so much energy, and he's okay, there we go. And he coaches in that stuff, man. He is such a unique individual. I love the guy. I mean, I've known him quite some time. And actually his sister, Kat Martinez, played at Wood River. Wood River stand out great from years and years ago. When I was coaching girls varsity, had to coach against her. So, I mean, I've known these kids forever, and Juan is just a unique person. So when he comes into this program at the community school, he just brought an energy, and the entire community rallied around him, and they have a ton of support, and he said the families are running everything. I mean, they're doing the announcing, they're singing the anthem, they're putting on halftime shows, doing giveaways, and it's like one big giant family feel. And he said it is super, super cool. Yeah, tons of pictures. And, this is what I found really interesting with all of this is the approach that they're taking with the program. It's like, he says, we give our kids an out. Meaning that if you need to focus on school, or you have a trip planned, or you have family stuff that's stressing you out, take the day off. Balance your life, right? Be at practice because you want to be there. So every day is a choice. And right now, these kids are choosing to show up. Now, obviously, winning is going to help that. But, Juan's job is to just decide who gets the playing time. And obviously, the ones that come to practice are the ones who are going to get the playing time. But it's a different mentality that they're approaching this with. And to be honest with you, if you are going to coach in this area, basketball, you kind of have to do it a little differently, because you can't have that old school rigor mentality where, you're going to be here and this is what you're going to live and breathe for the next 4 months, whatever, because they'll walk out the door, because that is not what's popular there. In fact, during the Winter Olympics, NBC is coming to do a special watch party in their gym for the Winter Olympics, because it is like 3,000 times more likely to be a Winter Olympian if you go to this school than anywhere else. I mean, because they're all into downhill skiing, Nordic skiing, snowboarding, and hockey, all of that before basketball, But, not everybody there is going to be an Olympic athlete. There's going to be some basketball players, and that's kind of where Juan comes in and just says, hey, let's play some basketball. And some kids are starting to gravitate toward it. But when you grow up in that area, that's kind of what you're dealing with. And it's such a unique place that you have to have a unique approach to it. So I found that really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool vibe going on there for sure. So we've got a ton of pictures, Scott. Here's a nice block underneath, pretty good form there. And then this was on senior night, of course. The players had signs, looks like some flowers. And I mean, just look at the smile. Look at the smile on his face as he's running through the tunnel, the gauntlet there, right?
Yeah, these kids are having a lot of fun. And it's tough not to with Juan, just because, like I said, he just has that energy. It's contagious.
Yeah. Here's another senior on senior night. That's the only two. They got a lot of seniors on this year's team. So pretty remarkable there. Again, this gym, Scott, as our good friend Richard Whitelaw, the AD up there, likes to call it the fish tank. It's a small, intimate gymnasium, Scott, the fish tank. You can see it there in the background. Not too many rows of bleachers, which means they've been filling them up this year. It probably gets pretty loud in there.
Yeah. Those small gyms are something else because the ceiling's lower because it used to be a potato cellar or something. I don't know. And you've got 3 bleachers and a couple of lawn chairs or whatever. And it's just a cozy environment. And if you can get it filled up, man, that thing just gets rocking, And so, yeah, good for them, And this is a group of boys that really are getting contributions from like all 4 classes. I mean, their leading scorers are freshmen, and they got seniors that are selfless, and they support everybody on the floor. They don't have that ego of like, oh, we have a freshman that's leading us in scoring. They don't have any of that crap going on. And sophomores and juniors stepping into, key roles. They're getting it from top to bottom right now. And that's kind of making this thing one big giant kind of family brotherhood fraternity, if you will, which is why you've got parents doing magic tricks at halftime or whatever is going on over there. But it's just a really cool vibe.
Yeah. Pretty awesome season going on there. So here's this is one of the seniors on the left, Marley Shapiro, and we recognize that name from soccer. Of course, he's a fantastic soccer player for the Cutthroats. And you can see how much taller he is than his teammate there. He just kind of looms large over him. Here's Luke Bathke, another one of the seniors on this year's team as well. And then, like you said, they've got a couple of freshmen, Liam Ammons and Calvin Stoddard, that are really playing well this year. And Scott, the varsity roster has a full 13 players on it, which is the first time in a long time they've had a full roster of guys too.
Yeah. When they're healthy, they're deep, and their pace can wear on teams. If they've got all of those guys, they'll use pretty much all those guys, right? But that's the one advantage that they will have when they're healthy is they can be deep, so when they're sick, and they've, every team's battled illness and whatnot, and they were doing that too. But when they're all there, they're something else. But, again, the winter time up there is different because, families are taking a lot of vacations during the winter as well. He said that there's kids that build igloos and sleep in them. They live in yurts for a few nights, and they travel to New York for modeling. It's just different. It's different. And you just can't stress that enough of what they're doing up there. And man, it's just pretty unique.
One last photo to share here, Scott. This must be the entire coaching staff, I'm guessing. Of course, that's Juan in the middle.
Oh my gosh, he almost looks like he stepped out of a Western, in some way. Very cool. I would assume yes, but I'm not 100% sure.
We did. We just got a batch of photos from Juan. It was just like, here you go.
Send a couple pics, man. Boom, photo dump, and it's like awesome. Love it. Makes everything come to life.
Yeah, I love the Western hat, and then also the jacket with the college professor, elbow patches on there as well.
Yeah. He's just missing that bolo tie thing, to complete the ensemble.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, as we mentioned, the community school 13-6 overall, 9-5 in conference play. They finished the regular season with 2 consecutive losses to Oakley and Hanson. They lost to Hanson by only 2. And so they're going to get ready for a district tournament that is fairly wide open this year, Scott. I mean, I don't know who you would say the favorite is. Murtaugh has had a very nice season. They're 15-4 overall, but they took 2 losses in conference. I think on paper, to me, Raft River is probably the best team, but they went 11-3 in the conference. Valley went 10-4, and then the community school went 9-5. So any of those 5 could really, and even Hagerman with Coach Katie Knight and Wyatt Mavenkamp and Will Mavenkamp and some of those guys, they went 6-8 in the league this year. But man, that top 6, you just shake them up and they could finish in any order.
Yeah, you could, and it really is coming down to who is jiving at the right time. who's healthy. You know, I mean, there's some sickness going around. I mean, we've seen some teams that have just been depleted, and hopefully that doesn't happen here, because that just changes the course of everything. So staying healthy, where's your mind at? I mean, that's what makes a difference in the postseason.
Yep, no doubt about it. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll keep an eye on the boys basketball postseason as it gets underway, Scott. And then, of course, next week we'll have our girls basketball state tournament preview special. We'll kind of do that in lieu of the normal Magic Valley Prepcast, because we'll be at state next Thursday. So
yeah.
So,
Guess we can't be doing it. I guess we don't have a choice, do we? So
no.
So what'd you say? Monday?
Yeah, Monday night.
Okay, Monday night. All right.
Yep.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, no kidding. I got to send that email out. So
I know. I gotta go announce some. You got 2 games tonight. I gotta go do wrestling senior night. So it just never stops for us, does it?
No, not really. So on that note, like 2 ships passing in the night. For Scott Burton, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning into the Magic Valley Prepcast, everybody. Girls basketball state tournament preview special next week. Until then, enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.